Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After we managed to assassinate Hitler in Black Orchestra last week, this week we're debuting a brand new game on the channel, as we were playing Pentaquest by Nerdura Games. Our goal is to run through a deck of fantasy monsters using dice, essentially in a poker dice style kind of game. Now, this looks like a very simple game from what I've seen of it played, so we're going to give it a shot. Each of our monsters also gives us a way to modify dice later. So let's see what we start off with. Our first roll here. First, we're facing a golem. We need 3 6s to clear that, and the modification here is we can add or subtract 1 to a die roll as we need to. Next up, we have a Pegasus, which looks like it needs two pairs. That lets us add 1 to a die roll. Next up, we have skeletons, a snake eyes and another pair. That lets us subtract 1 from a roll. Next up, a dwarf needs 3 4s, and we can add or subtract 1 from a die. And Ifriti need a 3 4 5, and that power is mirror a die to its opposite. So essentially it's like flipping a die in Roll Player. So we've got our 5d6 right here that we'll be using for this game. So let's jump in with our first roll. On the first roll of the game, we get 2 free re-rolls. So we start off with our initial... draw cards was the first part of the round. Then we have our initial roll. Where we get the 2 pair... Actually, we get both the 2 pair to defeat the Pegasus, and the ones, and the pair of 1s, and another pair to defeat the skeletons. So I think we'll take the Pegasus as our first successful clear. Then our next monster coming up is a gargoyle. A pair of 4s we need for this one, and we can add 1 to a die. So let's see what we get on our next roll. The goal, as I mentioned, is to go through the entire deck of 42 cards. All right, we've got... Well, we've got the 3 and the 5. We've also got the pair of 2s. The question is, you can try it by re-rolling any number of dice once. So the question here is, do I want to keep a pair and try to go for the skeletons? I think I'd rather keep the 3 and the 5 and go for an inside straight roll. Plus I can add 1 if I need to with the Pegasus. Well, that will work because I'll use the Pegasus to add 1 to the 3, make that a 4, and that will give me the Ifriti. So now I've got a mirror, so now I've got a flip available to me. Then our next card is a green slime. We can add or subtract 1 to a die, and we need any pair. Yep, any pair. All right, so let's see what we get here. Where was that 3 4 5 when we needed it last time? That's pretty much rubbish. I'm gonna keep the 4. That way I've got options, depending on what I roll. Okay, I can work with that. I'll take the 2 4s and I'll beat the gargoyle, which will let me add 1 to a die result. Next up is a treant. 3 4s and lets me add 1 to a roll. Let's see what our next roll is. Wow, okay. So we got 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 6, which I will use the any pair. Yeah, we'll use the any pair to take the green slime out. Then our next card is a Minotaur. 3 2s, and the power there is reroll any number of dice and keep the results. So let's see what we get here. Well, actually, I was about to hem and haw over that, but we've actually got the pair of 1s and any other pair. So that'll give me the skeletons, which will let me subtract 1 from a die roll. Our next card up is a Hippogriff. Need 3 3s, and we can add 1 to a die. Bunch of needing trios here, which I'm not sure I'm in love with, but let's see what we can do with this. I wish one of those was I wish one of these cards was a full house. We would have just cleared it naturally. But I'll keep the 2 4s and get the free reroll. And there's our third 4. So we've got the dwarf or the treant. I'm going to take the dwarf for now. I'm going to take the dwarf. Our next card up is a specter, which this one needs a full house. And we can use that to reroll any number of dice. Which that would have been a great one to have out this turn, because we beat the full house naturally. But let's see what we get out of this roll. Let's see. A 4, a 2, a 4, 2 5s, and a 6. Well, I'm not in love with any of that. So I guess we'll keep the 5s and hope for a full house. Because I've seen weirder things happen. Okay, well, the problem here is now I'm going to have to burn 2 pluses to get I'm going to have to burn 2 pluses to get both of these up to 6s, just so I can defeat something. Which I will do. I'll burn a gargoyle and a dwarf to make both of these 5s into 6s. Give me the 3 6s, and that'll let me take out the golem. And then our next card coming up is a goblin. 3 1s. Another triple, which I don't like for obvious reasons. Fortunately, though, we've got a whole mess of stuff where triples work, as long as we get, yeah, it has to be triples. Which, that is most certainly not. And 5s are one of the triples that don't actually work for us. So, although actually the 5s do kind of help us in going toward the specter. So I think we'll hold on to those, and then we'll see what we can roll here. Alright, that's a pair of 6s, which I can actually use my mirror on the Afridi to flip that to a 5. That's a full house. That'll take out the specter. Next card up is a gnome, which is another mirror. It takes any pair. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that's a pair of 1s, which I'll keep the pair of 1s. I can take out the gnome, but I want to see if I can do something about maybe getting this goblin. Nope. So I will take the gnome, since I can use any pair for that. Then the next card coming out is a chimera, which is another mirror. Needs 2 pairs. So here's our next roll. All right, that is 2 2s and 2 5s. That'll work for the Chimera naturally. Then to clear that, the next up is a purple worm. Need 4 of a kind. Yowza. Plus or minus a die. So we need 4 cards that have 3 of a kind and 1 that needs 4 of a kind. That's going to be fun. Well, I do have options available to me. I could take a reroll on that, or I could use both of my mirrors to turn those 1s into 6s and beat the purple worm. You know what? I've got a better idea. Do I want to risk that and try to get the goblin, or do I just use the mirrors? You know what? Let's risk it. I'm probably getting a little bit greedy rather than just using the mirrors and using the flips and being done with it. Yeah, that was not a smart idea, actually. Well, actually, that saves me a mirror because I can use one of these to flip that into a 1 and take the goblin. Question is, okay, so dice don't loop. That's a good thing to know. Next card up is a Gorgon. 3 5s, but it's a full reroll. So let's see what we get on our next roll. Okay, that's not great. Well, I'll keep the 2 4s, and we'll try it again. We'll get greedy here. I've got options if I need to get to that Treant. Wow, none of which I need actually, because I'm going to use the 4 4s to clear the purple worm, and I add that to my arsenal. So our next card coming up is a mummy. Another 4 of a kind, but a full reroll. Let's see what we get here. That's 3 3s. That'll just give me the Hippogriff straight up. And I'm not going to get greedy on that one. Next card coming up. Grey Ooze. 3 2s, and lets me subtract from a die. So now I've got 2 cards that take 3 2s. That could be a bit problematic, but let's see what we get here. A whole lot of Bubkus. Actually, let's keep the 4s for our free reroll. That way, again, I can still get to the Treant if I need to, or I've got options in case somehow I look into 2 more 4s and you can clear the mummy. Which I don't manage to do, but I actually will use the Hippogriff to turn this 3 into a 4, and that will let me defeat the Treant. And our next card up is a Nixie. Takes any 3 of a kind, lets me subtract a die. So here comes our next roll. Alright, well, that's 3 3s, which isn't that helpful here. That's 2 3s, I should say. We'll keep those anyway. See what we can get here. Okay, I don't completely hate that. The 3 3s will actually give me the Nixie, which will let me subtract from a die. Our next card up, Vampire, requiring a 6 high straight of 5 dice, but a full reroll. That's going to be a tough one to clear. But let's see what happens on our next roll. Well, let's see. I would need a minus and a plus to just get up to the vampire. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So I think we'll use a minus from the Nixie to turn one of these 4s into a 3. And then I'll use the plus from the Treant to turn one of these 5s into a 6, and that will give me the vampire. Our next card up is a Knoll, taking a pair of 1s and letting me add 1 to a die. So let's see what we get here on our next roll. Alright, 2 3s, a 2, a 1, and a 6. Well, let's keep... The problem is the 3s aren't helpful right now, except for going after the mummy. Yeah, let's keep those. And I've got ways to change everything else. Well, I think the best way to do that is to use the Goblin to turn this 2 into a 1. And we'll take the Knoll out to let me add 1 to another die roll. Next card up is a Rock, which requires 2 different pairs, but it lets me add or subtract 1 from a die. So let's see what we get on this next roll. I am enjoying this one so far. It's actually a pretty quick, simple game. Let's see what we get here on this roll. Okay, 2 2s and 2 4s. Well, that'll let me beat the Rock naturally. The next card up is a Giant. A 6 high straight of 3 cards and a full reroll. Let's see what we get here. Okay, looks like that is... Actually, what I think we're going to do here is we're going to use one of these plus minuses to change this 3 to a 2, and I'm going to clear one of these pluses. I'm going to grab the Gray Ooze. Next card up is a Dragon, requiring all 5 of a kind, and it's a full reroll. Let's see what we get on this roll. I may try to clear the Dragon out, depending on how many cards it takes me to get to that here, but let's see the roll. Oop. That one needs to go in the tower. Or I'll use the 4 5 6 to clear the Giant. Next card up is Black Pudding, plus or minus a die, pair of 3s, and any other pair. Let's see what we get next. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 6. Let's keep the 2, the 1, and the 3. That way, I know I can turn both of these into the cards I need, or into the dice I need to clear the Minotaur. But let's see if we can get lucky here. A 4 and a 6, huh? Well, I think we'll take up the idea of the Knoll and the Gray Ooze. I'll use the Knoll to turn this into a 2, and the Gray Ooze to turn that into a 2, and take the Minotaur for a full reroll. Next card coming up is a Ghoul. Pair of 5s lets me subtract 1 from a die. So let's see what our next roll is here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little bit of Pentaquest action here on a Wednesday night. I'm actually kind of enjoying this game. Alright, that's 3 threes. Which I'm going to keep those 3 threes and see what I re-roll on the 1 and the 2. Hopefully I can either get a pair to clear this black pudding, or 2 more threes through mitigation, well, 1 or 2 more threes to clear either the dragon or the mummy. Well, I could clear the mummy here, but I think what I'm going to do instead is use the purple worm to turn this 4 into a 3 and clear the dragon for another full reroll. That 5 of a kind, I didn't want that sitting there for long. Next up, we have the orc. Pair of 6s and a full reroll. Let's see what we can get here. Okay, there's our pair of 6s, which I'll use to clear the orc out. And then we've got a whole bunch of rerolls. So next up is the ochre jelly. A pair of 2s and any other pair lets me subtract 1 from a die. Next roll. Alright, pair of 5s. Which actually is enough to clear the ghoul, so I'll take that. Next up, we have the hobgoblin. Need 3 6s, and it's a flip. So let's see what we get here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That whole roll is just pretty much rubbish. Let's keep the 3. Let's keep the 3 and the 2, and I'll re-roll everything else. What I'm looking for, well, let's see what I get, because I've got a whole mess of re-rolls if I want them. Okay, there's a 3, which I can actually use. Yeah, I'll use the gnome as a flip to flip this 5 into a 2, and I can clear either the ochre jelly or the black pudding, and I'm going to clear the black pudding. That way I've got a little bit more freedom in my mitigation. Next card up is the kobold. A pair of 2s and can subtract 1 from a die. Okay, that's a pair of 2s and a pair of 6s. I'll take that for the ochre jelly. Next card up, we have a cockatrice. 1, 2, 3, and subtract 1 from a die. And I've got a lot of rerolls. I've got what looks like 6 rerolls. Yep. Let's see what we can get here. Alright, that is a pair of 4s, a 3, a 5, and a 6. Well, the 4s aren't doing me any good right now, except for trying to clear the mummy out. So I'll keep those, and we'll see what I roll here. Now, there's a 4. There's another 4, and as much as I don't like it, I'm going to burn 2 of my subtract cards to turn this 6 into a 4, so I can clear the mummy out and get yet another reroll. Next card up, we've got the centaur, which is 3 of a kind and a flip. Let's see what I can get here. Let me see how many cards we have in the deck before I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards left in the deck, so that's not bad. This is also my first time ever playing the game, but as you can see, Very straightforward, and it's available on drive-through cards if you want to get it for yourself. But coming back to business, let's see. Well, that's a pair of deuces and a pair of fives, which I'm going to keep all of that. That way I've got the cobbled clear in my back pocket. Because what I really want to try to do is clear, I either want to clear the Gorgon or the Centaur out. Let's see what I can do with this last die. I've got the cobbled guaranteed. Let's see if I can get a little bit greedy, either for the Gorgon or the Centaur. And I will take the Centaur. I could use another flip there anyway. Next card up is the Elf. 2 threes and a full reroll. Let's see what our next roll is. Let's see, a 1, 2 threes, a 4, and a 5. Well, the pair of threes will give me the Elf straight away. That'll bring me up to 8 rerolls. Our next card up is a Troll. Pair of 6s and a different pair. It gives me another flip. Let's see what I want to do here. Let's see, that's a pair of 6s and a 5 in there. Let's pull that out, and I'll re-roll the 3 and the 1. Maybe I can get something natural so I can save on some of these cards. That's a 1. I'm going to use a plus minus to turn this 5 into a 6 and clear the Hobgoblin. Next card up is an Ogre. Pair of 4s and a different pair, plus 1 to a die. Let's see what we pull here. We've got some problems here with the Cockatrice and the Gorgon especially. Let's see, 2 2s and 2 4s. That's actually enough to give me the Ogre naturally. The next card up is the Hydra. 5 high straight of 5 cards and a full reroll. We're probably going to end up burning some of these rerolls pretty soon, but let's see what happens on this next roll. Or we just roll and get the Cockatrice. Well, do we want the Cockatrice or do I use a card to get the Hydra? I think I save the card for now. No, I don't. I'll use the Ogre to turn one of these 3s into a 4 and take the Hydra. Next card up is a Werewolf. 3 3s and a Mirror. Or a flip, I should say. So let's see what we get here. That Troll's going to probably cause us some problems. Let's see, that's a natural 1, 2, 3 or a pair of 2s, which I will take the natural 1, 2, 3 to get the Cockatrice. Next card up is a White. Ooh, boy. Full house. Full reroll, though. Let's see what we can get here. Well, about that full house being a problem, I'll use the Cockatrice to turn the 4 into a 3, and I got my full house to clear the White. And now I've got a whole mess of full rerolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next card up is a Dryad. 2, 3, 4, plus 1 to a die. We have, looks like, we have 3 cards left in the deck. It's a pretty standard beat your high score, but it seems to be, but we're doing pretty well at this one so far. Let's see what we get here, though. Two threes and two sixes. I'll take another mirror off the troll for that. Next card up. A Medusa. 3 fives and a mirror and a flip. I always want to call it mirrors for some reason, but it's really a flip of the die. Onto its opposite face, but let's see what we get on this roll. Let's see, that's a 1. That's 2 1s, a 2, a 5, and a 6. That's not that good. I'll keep the 2, because that gives me the most options here. Because I can, a 3-4 turns into the Dryad, another 2 turns into the Kobold, or I just get completely lucky with the dice and it turns into something else different. Like 2 5s and 2 6s. We'll use a minus to turn one of these 6s into a 5. And I'll use that to clear the Gorgon. I should probably use some of these rerolls at some point. Next card up is a Basilisk. Pair of 5s and a different pair. Full reroll. As if I didn't have enough rerolls right now. But let's see what our next roll is. Hang on. Sorry about that. Had to pause for a second. Our next roll is 3 4s, a 5, and a 1. That's not that good here. Well, the other pair is good for the Basilisk. So let's see what I can roll here. Actually, yeah, the other pair. I probably should have kept the 5, but hindsight, as they say. Alright, that's a 2 3 4, which actually works out. I'll use that to clear the Dryad. Last card in the deck, but in order to win the game, I have to clear everything out. Is a Griffin. 3 1s lets me subtract 1 from a die. So we've got 5 cards left and a metric crap ton of rerolls. I believe that's the technical term for it. If it's not, that's what we'll go with. Let's see, that's 2 2s and 2 5s. That'll give me the Basilisk, which will give me yet another reroll. Let's see what we get here. We need a pair of 2s, 3 1s, 3 5s, and 3 3s. Those are our last 4 cards. Let's see, that is a 1, 2 4s, and 2 5s. I'll keep the 5s, since that's probably what I'm going for here. And I'll re-roll these. I'm probably going for the Medusa here. Which there's a third 5, I'll take the Medusa. So I've got 4 flips, a +1, a plus or minus 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12 full rerolls. I should be able to get the rest of the way through this deck, but let's see. Here's where I'm not going to be too greedy. If I've got a natural on my first roll, I'm just going to take it. Let's see, that's a pair of 2s. That'll be the Kobold. That'll clear nicely. Now we've got 2 cards left. 3 1s and 3 3s. Okay, we'll keep the 3 and the 1. Use our free reroll here. Well, that didn't really help me with anything. So I think what I have to do here is I'm going to have to burn 2 cards for this. I'll use a mirror on the Medusa, or a flip to flip the 6 to a 1. Then the Kobold to reduce that to a 1 and clear the Griffin. So now I just need 3 threes, and I've got a boatload of cards to get me there. Two threes, and I've got my free reroll. Well, now I just start using cards. So I'll use the Basilisk for a free reroll. Once again, keeping the for a reroll, keeping the 2 threes. And getting my 3rd 3. That'll give me the Werewolf, and I've cleared out the deck. Which is the end of the game. So now I'll tally up score, where I score 1 card I score 1 point per card I had left. So 1 for the Griffin. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7, 8. And my mess of rerolls. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And they say that a score over 20 is good. So 19 for a first time playing this game is actually not that bad at all. Definitely one I liked. Plays quickly. Very, very simple. I'll definitely pull this one out again. But that'll do it for this playthrough of Pentaquest. I'm not going to set it up and play again. I do want to relax a little bit before I have to go back to work again tomorrow. Busy weekend coming up on the channel. Friday, I should say, we'll be back into the baseball diamond. I don't have the game in front of me, but I know we'll be playing Fall Classic Baseball. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will be an afternoon upload out of the Star Wars Life Day cookbook as we make the entree, Aopai Roast. Sunday, we're playing Combat Commander Pacific by GMT Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.